everybody. My name is Ethix.
My name is T.
And welcome to Fearful Thoughts.
Welcome back, everybody.
Welcome back.
How you doing today?
Doing great. How are you?
Oh, pretty awesome. How you doing, Nick?
I am doing great.
Yeah, thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for coming in to weigh in on stuff.
Yeah, we have a awesome topic today going around the top. Oh shit! What was I gonna say? I keep on fucking that up.
Jesus.
Well,
it's not like we talked about this ahead of time or anything.
Yeah, I know, but when we plan stuff, it usually kind of like, I don't know, it just
goes according to the plan. You know, like we're the A team.
Yeah, and the shitty thing is that I'm the itinerary guy. I should be on the shit.
Right? That's what I said last week.
Yeah, well, you know...
it still stays true this week.
Dude, I'm just going with the wind. No, I'm just kidding. I am actually going to stick on schedule this time.
Wanted to get blown.
So, this week we have Nick over here. He's going to be judging us on our little game that we got going on. It's not really a game, but
it's a fun topic, and hopefully this goes well, and we can do plenty others like it.
Oh, definitely, and we very, very unbiased, and I think that he's going to be fair. But hey.
Hopefully, if not, he's fired.
Wait, he's fired?
Well, that's no fun. I don't want to be fired.
Well, that's what happens.
So what if I make sure that you win?
Oh, then you're hired full time.
Oh, sweet. Okay, that's what I'll make sure I'll do then.
Wait. Am I getting replaced? Shit.
Depends on how this goes.
That's not the fun part. Okay. Well, anyway.
So you'll have to stay tuned next week to find out if Ethix gets fired or not.
That's so bullshit. You guys, I just want to make a reminder. If you guys want to voice your opinion and keep me on this podcast, help me out. And I want you guys to go to anchor.com and leave us a little voice message. Say hi, come hang out with us. It'll be a lot of fun. We do this every weekend. I know in the beginning we did originally say that we were going to be doing this Saturday. My fuck up is that we do this later in the evening on Saturday, and then I have to go back to the house, but I usually don't get back until later.
And he watches all of his porn.
Well, yeah, but
so that's part of the reason why it doesn't come out on Saturday, because he's too busy watching his porn.
No. Okay,
and
here's what happens.
Black-eyed kids.
No, and it takes a minute to edit the thing. So sometimes it'll be out.
So it takes you longer to edit than to jerk off.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm a hit it, quit it, minute man.
10 second?
Yeah. That's what the ladies call me. But no, it's gonna be. So you're gonna have to kind of just kind of keep with me on this a little bit. I do apologize for the people that are like, well, it's not on every Saturday. Well, yeah, but for the past couple episodes, I've been doing a little bit better. It's more Saturday night, Sunday morning, like early Sunday morning, like midnight, 1 o'clock. So I get it out there as fast as I can. So
maybe we should change the information to say that it comes out on Sunday,
or we could just say the weekend. Every weekend. That way,
that works too. Because then, if you somehow magically are able to get one out on Saturday,
then it's not. Then
when you're not busy with your porn addiction.
I don't have an addiction. I just need to do it every 5 minutes.
Are you saying that because you don't go to meetings?
No.
Because you didn't know this, but Nick and I actually came together for this episode as an intervention of your porn addiction.
Yeah, so we're actually not doing a versus episode. We're here to talk to you about your addiction.
My addiction? I don't understand what you're talking about here, guys. I don't have an addiction. I just really enjoy the porn.
Yeah, and clearly.
I just can't help it.
I can't help you anymore.
Yeah, pretty much. Okay, so I hear that you got something for me today, though. Actually, a little bit for everybody.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no. Put your shirt down. Put your shirt down.
Hey. You said
No,
Yes,
no,
yes,
Nick,
yes,
Nick,
yes,
Nick.
yes.
Nope.
Oh, yes, yes.
No,
Oh, yeah.
both of them are touching nipples, and I don't approve.
Wrong podcast.
No, definitely wrong podcast. This is not the night show.
I keep trying. Yeah, we're not really touching nipples, I guess.
Oh yeah, they're not touching
Each other's
nipples.
Yeah,
like
no,
they're
no,
not.
No, I'm not touching
like
his.
nipple
He's
to
not
nipple.
touching mine. He's like 5 feet away from me. COVID and all.
It's 6 feet. It's not 5
Hey,
feet.
hey! It could be 5 feet if we have plexiglass in between us. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Stick that in your juice box and suck it.
You suck it.
Not my job.
Just give the people what they're wanting this week.
Well, what do the people want?
Well, they want to know your grand horror fact of the week.
We're there already. Sorry,
We're there. Follow the fucking itinerary. I'm doing good this week.
I was, but then it went to the left field. So,
you bastard.
All right, so this week's horror fact is The Blob is based on a supposedly true story.
What?
Yeah.
The blob, as in like the nasty looking
the big
creature.
blob that just rolls over you and
Did you just call it the
devours
Mick blob? Did I hear that correctly?
I don't think I said the Mick blob, but whatever.
Is that the what's his name from McDonald's? I can't remember his name. The purple guy now.
Grimace, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, Grimace was
is the
based
Blob.
on a true story. No, the movie The Blob. On September 27th, 1950, the Philadelphia Inquirer ran an article with the headline, "Flying Saucer Just Dissolves." The night before, police officers John Collins and Joe Keenan swore that they'd watched a mysterious object fall from the sky. Rushing towards the landing site, the men stumble upon a purple jelly-like mass. Collins and Keenan immediately summoned two of their colleagues who arrived just in time to watch the material evaporate without a trace. The FBI was contacted, a press conference was held, and the whole mess became a national laughingstock. Fast forward to 1957. That year, producer Jack H. Harris was looking to make a creature feature, but he couldn't come up with a decent premise, so he asked his friend Irving to try and devise one. "It's got to be a monster movie," Harris explained. "It's got to be in color instead of black and white. It can't be cheapy creepy. It's got to have some substance to it. It's got to have characters you could believe in, and there's got to be a unique monster never before done. And the method of killing the monster would have to be something that Grandma could have cooked up on her stove." And the rest is history.
So what you're saying was it purple monster. It was Grimace from McDonald's.
Yes, before he became solid figure.
Yeah, so someone went to McDonald's and saw Grimace and was like, "Hey, that's a monster movie."
Yes, that's exactly it.
That sounds about right to me. I mean, you can see that little Ronald McDonald fuck and be like, "Oh yeah, I can make a horror movie out of that."
Oh yeah. Somebody should totally make a horror movie out of Ronald McDonald.
Yeah,
There's quite a twist that could be done on it.
Dude, it'll probably be in another episode. I have some shit for like restaurants being influenced and horror movies being influenced by restaurants and stuff like that in America.
Nice.
And some creepy shit happens. But anyway, I have a game for both of you today.
Ooh, I love games.
Guess what it is?
Strip poker.
I was gonna say strip. Oh, never mind. I was gonna say something else, and you got me all fucked up right there. No, not in. So today we got two truths and a lie, just as last week and the week before.
Is there a prize? You keep promising me a prize, and I've yet to see it.
Well, you're just gonna have to reach in the box and see what you grab.
The last time I tried that, I now can't go within 500 feet of a school.
I would not be saying that
Just
on
kidding,
here,
folks. Just kidding.
I would not.
Come on, people.
Podcast is gonna be people are like, "Oh, I actually kind of like this podcast." Wait, this guy's a fucking pedophile. That's exactly what's gonna happen.
Only in your world. In mine, everybody just laughs at it because
No, apparently in yours,
joke.
it's 500 feet.
Hey, I'm not the one whose grand plan is to jerk off in front of black-eyed kids.
That is just my scare tactic. Either they're going to run away.
That's one hell of a scare tactic because you don't know if it's a black-eyed kid or a real kid.
Playing a prank.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'll let the court decide that one. But, okay, so this has to do with our episode today.
Ooh.
Which we are talking about Pennywise. No cocaine. No for you. We're talking about Pennywise and we're talking about Freddy Krueger. Two people that are masters of fear and shapeshifters actually. They have the abilities to have.
Yes.
So really cool. Nick, you're actually going to be playing with us as well today. I'm including you.
Ooh.
Sounds great to me. I mean, see if I can beat Tristan and yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I got a pretty good track record for being wrong.
Oh, I was going to say, I thought you were going to say, I've been right. I'll be like, I've got you on the past couple ones.
But this one might be the one that I turn it around.
I really don't think so.
I don't know, man. I know my shit when it comes to horror movies. So.
Apparently not horror figures from the last couple times. I've stumped you, and you've
got me pretty good, yeah.
Okay, so as we know, I have two truths and one thing that I made up myself that's in this. So we're gonna start out. I'm gonna read them all to you. And then we're just going to go from there. And I'm going to let Tristan say what he has to say. And then I'm going to give Nick the mic and let him talk and see what his answer is for this as well. And then I'll tell you guys if you guys are both right, both wrong, or one beat the other. All right, so let's get in. It is described by Stephen King. I'm sorry, I should have put that in fucking parentheses. It is described by Stephen King as a female since it's been shown laying eggs and being able to reproduce. Okay? Which it is an asexual creature. I will put that out. But,
right.
Okay. Number 2. Will Smith, under his rap moniker, Fresh Prince, along with DJ Jazzy Jeff, actually wrote an Elm Street-based rap that actually features Freddy Krueger himself. Okay? Then we have number 3. There's a Freddy Krueger comic that hints that the dream demons come from the same dimension as Pennywise. It hints it. It doesn't blatantly say that they come from it, but they actually mention
who makes the comic book.
I don't actually have that answer for you right now.
Okay.
If I had it open on a webpage, but
okay, because I was just curious who makes the Freddy Krueger comic book.
Yeah, I don't know. You're just gonna have to.
I know this much. I know that the Will Smith reference is true. That much I know is true.
Oh,
because
You sure?
I grew up with Fresh Prince and listening to his music, and I know that there is an Elm Street based song that he does. Nightmare on My Street, I believe is the name of the title. And in there, I know that Freddy Krueger himself is on the line. Yeah, and so I know that one is pretty true. As far as the comic book, I don't know. I feel like that one could be the lie, but it could be truthful as well. But then also, I've read the book. Well, listened to it, the audiobook. And I don't recall Stephen King referring to it as a female directly and saying that it was shown laying eggs by any means. So, you know what? I'm going to lean towards A. That's my final answer. I'm going to stick with it.
All right, so I'll wait to tell you if you're right or wrong.
Right. Okay. Yeah, we got to let Nick weigh in here.
And go ahead, Nick.
Okay, so Tristan, I am actually agreeing with you, but I do want to say, like, I don't think he was meaning like Stephen King said this in the book or anything. I think he meant from how I understood it, it was like he was doing it like an interview or something and described Pennywise in this or it in this way.
Okay, well, yeah, I guess I could see that.
Yeah,
I never really listened to any of the interviews.
Yeah, I do agree with you that I think it's A. So that's what I'm going to go with. A, final answer.
And you guys are all satisfied with your guys' final answers, correct?
Yes, I'm sticking with A.
You are both wrong. It was an actual interview that Stephen King referred to Pennywise as female, because later on, after the books, it is not implied. It is said that he actually reproduces. He is asexual, but Stephen King himself refers to it as a female.
Okay,
which is interesting. You were right.
That is very interesting because, like I said, I've listened to the audiobooks and it was not referenced whatsoever as far as possibly being female.
Yeah, no.
I mean, they didn't say that it was male or female in the books, really.
Yep, just
so that's interesting.
It was only referred to as female in its true form. So everything else, when it shapeshifts and when it goes into all these different things, it's
yes.
Yeah. So
so that does that mean that the comic book was the lie?
The comic book was the lie. Yes.
Okay, so I was torn between the comic book and that one.
So was I felt like, because I knew Ethan said something to my wife about something, and I just kind of assumed it was going to be that one, because it was like he like whispered it, and it was like, oh my, that's shocking.
Yeah, but we all know that he can't whisper.
Well, no, I couldn't hear what he said, but he said something to her, because he was like telling me like, oh yeah, the two truths and the lie. I was like, well, I want to play, so I don't really want to know what the lie is, because I don't want to be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna play, but I'm gonna know the answer.
Yeah, that's cheating. We don't condone cheating.
Yeah, no, I wasn't gonna cheat, but I also wanted to tell somebody about the Pennywise thing.
Oh yeah,
I've never heard that before.
Yeah, I hadn't either. So that's very interesting.
I thought that was pretty awesome. So I got a quick joke for you. So if Freddy was on, the rap with Will Smith, does that mean we call him Little Slasher? No. Do I get a chuckle out of that?
I don't think he's picked his rap name yet.
Yeah. No.
Well, shit. I mean, it was.
You tried, but you got crickets.
Wah wah wah. Okay, so today's topic.
Ooh, and this is a good one.
We have Freddy Krueger versus
Pennywise,
the dancing clown, right?
Dancing clown.
Yeah, that creepy little bastard.
Hey. He's not that creepy.
He's pretty fucking creepy.
Although, did you know that in the movie It, the 2017 actual movie, because the other 1990 version is a miniseries,
right?
TV miniseries, not a movie. A lot of people get that wrong. The actor Bill Skarsgård, he actually did that with his eyes, where his Pennywise's eyes went to the sides and stuff. That's actually the actor doing that. That's not CG.
Yeah, actually, I did know that. He did that in his audition, and it creeped out the people, and they were like, "Oh God, yeah, okay,
like,
you're good.
You got the role. You don't even have to say anything. You got the role."
Yeah. So Ethan, you were saying that Pennywise was creepy, but remember when we went to Portland last year? The Pennywise that you ran into.
Okay, I had mixed feelings about that one. Okay. Again, this show is I have posted it as explicit, 18 or 17 and older.
What the fuck?
But no. Okay, so Nick and I, for those of you that don't know, him and I are actually really, really good friends.
Like they came out of the closet at the same time.
Yeah. No, he's married.
That doesn't mean anything.
Okay. Well, to his wife.
It's a cover.
It's a cover. No, him and I actually went to a haunted house strip club over in Portland, and
all male strippers.
No, all female strippers. There were guys there, but they were just, I think, helping the strippers out.
No, so there was one guy in the actual strip club part. No, two guys in the actual strip club part. There was one playing a priest, for the Exorcist thing.
Good movie.
And then there was another one that was just, I assume was a bouncer, but playing a role as a bouncer in the strip club when we went through the door with the penis handle.
Yeah.
Wow, you never told me about the penis handle door.
Yeah, no, I didn't. I was ashamed.
Wow.
But he's referring to...
He fondled it a lot, didn't he?
No, actually, Nick grabbed it first. You didn't.
Wow.
You didn't. I thought you grabbed it.
No, so the door you just pushed open. Because, like, okay, so we were all in our group and everything, and we went to, like, grab it, and, like, I was trying to figure out, like, where do we go, and then, like, noticed the door, went to grab the handle, noticed it was a penis, and was like, oh, hey, Ethan, go through the door, and then you were like, no, so I just pushed it open.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. It's been a couple years since we've been there. To be fair, I do remember the Pennywise chick though that came up to me and she was like, "Oh, hey, do you like clowns?" And I was like, "No." And she was all like, "Are you sure about that?" or whatever else she said. And she made me grab her boob. So it was a mixed feeling situation because I fucking hate clowns.
Scared and horny all at once.
Pretty fucking much. That is exactly how I felt.
Nice.
No, but it was actually really fun to go through and everything, and like the only part that like scared me really was like when we went through that door where the because like as soon as we go through the door, like you go through this door and there's like a stripper standing there in front of like a mirror, like she's changing, and she turns around screaming, and then this big fucking bouncer just comes out like, oh my god, like you're not supposed to be here. So I'm like, oh shit, we went through the wrong door.
Oh, nice. They pulled one of those on you guys, huh? That
Yeah.
seems to be a trend that's going on right now.
Yeah, and I mean, like, that's the only part that was, like, to me, that was actually scary or anything, because, I mean, the rest was just great.
Nice. So, you want to start off by talking about...
Oh, I suppose.
Come on now, Mr. Itinerary.
Sorry, I was thinking about that clown stripper.
I bet you were. That's why he's not going to be standing up at all during the rest of this.
Oh no, I got an ice pack in my pants right now.
You start seeing his hand moving a quick jerking motion.
The Black Eyed Kids. I'm getting prepared. Okay, just in case we get another knock on the door one of these days. And
it's bound to happen.
It's gonna be a Black Eyed Kid, and I'm just gonna open the door and be like, "What are you doing?" Like. Jerking off. Oh,
I am totally going to set this up and get some GoPros so we can record this. I'm totally going to make this happen.
What are you going to do? Put it on Pornhub?
We'll have to bleep out. I mean, it won't take much to bleep it out. But
bleep it out? Yeah.
But it's going to be hilarious when we do this.
Yeah.
You're not going to know when or where it's going to happen. But we're going to get some kids to dress up as Black Eyed Kids.
You're going to get me arrested. That's all I got to tell you right now.
Okay, we'll get midgets. So that way they're of age.
Yeah, that midgets would be perfect. Like, but you have to get like, cause it's Ethan, so you need guy midgets.
Well, yeah, it's definitely got to be guy midgets.
Okay, so we need like Peter Dinklage. He's a good actor.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Ooh,
so he could do it.
What about Warwick Davis?
Okay.
Do you recognize that name?
I don't recognize the name.
Oh man. Okay, so he played Wicket in Star Wars. He was also Willow in the movie Willow.
Okay, I haven't seen Willow.
Okay, but you've seen Star Wars, so you know Wicket, the Ewok.
Yeah.
The most famous one. And then he also was in the Harry Potter films. And then his most... Well, I wouldn't say most famous, but the role that I really enjoy him in the most is the Leprechaun.
Okay, so I have seen him in quite a few things. I just didn't recognize the name. Is all.
Right. Yeah. And that's what happens a lot. You know.
And plus, I'm just horrible with actors' names in general.
Yeah, I get that. So many people are. Like I said, just from horror movies and stuff. That's where I retain that. If they were in a horror movie, I really don't retain it at all.
Yeah, no, I agree with you there. Just kidding. I like a lot of other stuff.
Midget porn,
bestiality,
midget porn.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was trying to think of the other thing that went in that sentence.
You mean bestiality, midget, black-eyed kid porn?
Okay, well, I'm not
Yeah.
a pedophile. I'll say midget. I'm not saying kid.
Well,
Nope.
they're midgets playing kids.
Okay, are they?
You know,
Are they
so they're
18?
of age.
Like-
they are of age.
Okay.
Okay.
I can take that probably. I mean, I fuck a midget.
You probably would take it a lot.
Wait. I'll rephrase that. I'd fuck a girl midget. I wouldn't fuck a dude midget.
Wow.
No,
Going that way.
No, I mean, like, I'm not-
Jesus.
like-
Mhm.
it's just not for me. It's
Alright.
not my cup of tea.
Not much is these days.
Yeah, no kidding. So for this segment that we're going to be doing, and this is going to be also in future episodes, the verses, some I believe are going to be random and others are going to be planned.
Yeah, because we've talked about drawing names out of a hat to keep it random, or having our guest judge here possibly just pick two random names and give you one and give me the other and go from there.
Yeah, I honestly think that he'd probably try to fuck me in that situation.
I would never try and do that to you. Like, I will be.
Yeah, he's married.
Totally
God.
fair. And I just don't think of you in that way.
No.
Not even a little.
He's married, man. Come on.
Kaylee, if you hear this, I'm sorry. Anyway, so the 5 categories that we're going to be going off of is
Best dressed.
What?
Best dressed.
No, for
Oh.
our slashers that we got going.
Oh, yeah.
And
I thought
killers.
that was one of the categories, you know.
No. Best
Damn
dressed,
it.
then your guy looks like a
Because,
clown.
I mean, well, yeah, but Freddy has dressed up in a tux before.
he's dressed up as a lot of things.
So I mean, he would definitely get that category. He's best dressed.
Yeah, no, I will agree there, and he doesn't look like a fucking clown.
Hey.
Anyway,
Hey, Pennywise can look like anything he wants.
yeah, he chooses the clown. You're right.
Yeah.
Okay, back on track. The 5 categories that we have are worth a point each. 1 is origin story. 2 are powers. 3 weakness. What makes them scary, and kills. So each of those 5 categories is worth 1 point, and there can only be one Highlander.
Well, yeah. There can be only one. Now, what if our judge can't decide and wants to give us a half a point?
I think that's going to be fair, and I would let him have that judgment and let him make that call.
Okay, so I don't think I will need that, but it's good to have the option to have it if I do need it. But I think for the most part, I should be able to make a decision of who I think wins.
Good. And what are you looking to get out of some of these categories? I mean, is there anything specific you're looking for? Like more of a supernatural kind of like the origin story, for instance. Are you looking for something that's gonna like just blow your mind, or
Okay, so
how give us kind of a rundown of what you're how you're gonna rank
what I'm
us.
thinking is it's going to depend category to category. So obviously, like with origin story, like I already talked to Ethan about this and everything, and it's basically going to be like who has the most interesting origin story in my eyes. Like
It's me.
I told him that already. Like I have an idea of who I think is going to win, but I'm not telling either of you because like I don't want it to be
Good.
biased. And
Good.
I also I could get something that changes my mind completely. And like so like with this origin story, like I already told Ethan, like I'm pretty sure I have an idea of who's gonna win, but without some new information or with new information, my mind could be changed. I don't really know. It just depends on what you guys bring to the table.
Nice. And have you done any research prior to this on either character?
So I've done a small amount of research. Like,
Okay.
basically just did a little bit of research, kind of figured out, wrote down some questions that I had and what things that I think you guys should bring up, and like so it's mostly just like certain things that are I'm questioning and I want the information to, in hope that you guys have it.
Okay. Well, I mean, I've got like almost 11 pages of stuff, so I'm sure somewhere in here I probably have an answer, hopefully. And I think Ethics has probably about the same.
Yeah, I actually got about 9 pages of research going on over here.
Okay.
So I got a fairly vast variety of info for you guys.
Nice. I think though that Pennywise has you on the kills though.
On the kills? Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm thinking I'm taking you on that.
Probably because mine.
Do we want to set forth any rules or anything as far as the kills go? Like, are we looking for numbers? Are we looking for elaboracy?
So basically, what I was thinking with this is that it's going to be like, I feel like best kill.
Okay.
And also numbers would suffice in that as well.
Okay. I mean, I have both.
Right.
I have numbers and I have types of kills.
And so do I.
So okay.
Yeah.
I just feel like we didn't talk a whole lot about.
Yeah, we didn't go into
over.
Yeah, that's
expectations
true.
per round.
But I'm glad that we're almost on the same page.
Yeah, I am too. It's quite interesting how most of the time we've been able to do that. Been on the same page, just like in past episodes where you've gone one way on a topic and then I've gone a complete other way, and none of our stories have crossed.
Exactly. No, and that's kind of what I would. That's what I'm wanting to go for, and that's what I've been aiming for ever since that we've started this. Because I would love to have differentiality in between the both of us in this, and just have fun with it. Like that's what I aim for in this. Like, I am definitely not the smartest person in the world. I don't know everything about horror, but that's why I love doing this. Like, when you and I have talked about it, like, we both enjoy diving in and actually looking into the history and the
lore, myth.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The legends, everything. Like, and it boils down to, like, I don't know, just the fun of it, I guess.
Oh yeah,
like,
definitely learning a lot. Even as much as I know of horror myself, I'm still learning a lot about some of the other subjects, and you've been doing pretty good with the games.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun for sure. I'm glad I can continuously stump you, and now I have a new stumper over here, so you guys are on loose streaks right now.
God damn it.
Well, I mean, so my lose streak is going to take a while to break because, I mean, I probably won't be back until you do another episode of Versus. If Tristan chooses not to fire me, that is.
Well, we'll figure that one out later as far as whether you're fired or not. I mean, you didn't bring me any snacks.
Well, good thing.
You didn't bring me any drinks. I mean, Jesus.
Good thing, it's off the topic of me getting replaced. Just saying.
But that's always on the table.
Yeah. Hey, fuck you.
It depends on if I win or lose.
So, before we actually get into this, we're going to take a quick sponsor break for you guys. And we're going to just get into this after the break and after these quick messages from our sponsor, Anchor.
Hey everyone, if you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. And guess what? It's totally free. There's a creation tool that allows you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. And also, Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and many more. You can make money from your podcast right away with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started today. And don't worry guys, it's a lot of fun, and I'll see you there.
And we're back, everybody. That was a good sponsor break we had there.
Yeah, that was a great break.
Are you ready to get into this death match between Freddy Krueger and Pennywise?
Are you ready to lose?
You ready to lose?
I'm going to win.
I don't know. Nick, what do you think?
I am not going to say who I think is going to win because, like I said earlier, I have a idea of who I think is going to win, but I want to keep it fair. I don't want to tell you what my current opinions are and let you guys change my mind if you do.
You're like that YouTuber changed my mind.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
So before we started recording, we picked and chose and figured out who was going to go first. And, of course, Ethix drew the short straw, so he's going first.
Isn't it longer straw goes?
Longer straw chooses who goes.
Wait. Oh.
Just suck it up.
I'm just
and
gonna go with it. Okay. Yeah. So we're starting off with Freddy Krueger and his origin story. So let's get into it. Sit back and listen up, motherfucker. You're going down. Okay.
To take a nap.
Yeah.
This snooze fest.
Yeah, you and the fucking clown. Anyway. Amanda Krueger was born in Springwood, Ohio in 1907. In 1925, she became a nun and began serving at the Hathaway House, which would later become known as the Weston Hills Psychiatric Hospital. During this time, she adopted her name in Christ, Sister Mary Helena. In December 1941, just before Christmas, the staff at Weston Hills locked down the facility for the pending holiday. The guards missed taking notice of Amanda's presence, and she was accidentally locked inside the tower. She was not alone, however. Left defenseless, she was brutally beaten and raped by 100 maniacs. One of the inmates impregnated her. 9 months later, she gave birth to a son whose name was Freddy. She gave the child up for adoption, and he was raised by an abusive man named Edward Underwood. Understandably, Freddy was a troubled child. His father was a drunk all the time and seemed to take a great deal of joy in beating his young ward with a belt. At school, Freddy was taunted mercilessly for his heritage. He started to exhibit the telltale signs of a fictional serial killer, murdering the class hamster and getting a kick out of cutting himself with a straight razor. It would be a delightful at this juncture to report that young Frederick experienced a moment of personal metamorphosis, switching gears and going from troubled loner to enthusiastic force for good, perhaps harnessing his understanding of the dark side of the human psyche to help others in their journey towards becoming useful members of society. Sadly, this was not the case. On one particular unfortunate day, Freddy, unable to stomach the constant tirade of abuse from his adopted dad, jammed his razor blade deep into the eye socket of his father figure. While a life mirrored in violence and tragedy is difficult to punctuate with definitive turning points. Sorry, I'm fucking butchering that sentence. Couple of them. It could be argued that this was where any hopes of a happy life died, and the Springwood slasher was born. The events of Freddy's young adult life are murky, and it's not clear whether or not he ever faced any legal consequences for the murder of Mr. Underwood. What is known that by his mid-20s, Fred Krueger was in the family way. He'd marry a woman named Loretta who gave birth to a daughter, Catherine. Together they lived what was, to the casual observer, a simple, happy, pedestrian life. Lying just beneath the surface, however, was a dark secret. Freddy, unable to stem his unquenchable bloodlust, had constructed a secret room in the family's suburban home. Inside, he kept a series of homemade weapons, newspaper clippings, and memorabilia from his off-hour hobbies, which was slaughtering the children of Springwood, Ohio, as the mysterious killer known as Springwood Slasher. Marriages, if nothing else, based on trust, and the Krugers' home life hit a speed bump when Loretta discovered Freddy's man cave. Freddy, sort of cementing himself as one-note song, killed his wife in front of their young daughter. Shortly after this, he was arrested for the murders of numerous local children, and Catherine was put into foster care under a new name. The arrest and subsequent trial of Fred Krueger sparked an onslaught of high tempers on the good folks of Springwood. The evidence condemning the Springwood slasher was damning, and justice for the roughly 24 children who died by his benign hand lay on the line. Unfortunately, the United States penal system is far from perfect, and its fictional counterpart doubtably so. Thanks to a misplaced signature and a drunken judge, Krueger was set free despite clearly being guilty. The parents of Springwood, however, were less than inclined to cotton to that sort of tyranny, And a scene echoing the villagers' attack on the castle of Frankenstein, the good folks of Springwood formed an old-fashioned vigilante mob, trapping Fred and soaking him in gasoline before lighting him on fire. Little did they know that as they watched the building burn to the ground, Krueger was being approached by dream demons. These supernatural entities offer Krueger that opportunity to carry out his sadistic ways indefinitely as their otherworldly antagonistic agent. So that was his origin.
Wow, that was interesting.
Yeah, not too bad, right?
Yeah, so there was definitely a lot more to it than I thought there was going to be. Like, I knew very little about, well, really each character from today. Like, I've seen them in the movies and read a little bit about them, but I didn't know a lot about the origin story of either. So now I'm interested to hear more about Pennywise.
Well, on that note, I guess I will go ahead and come at you with my origin story for Pennywise.
Loser.
So, you're just saying that because you don't like clowns.
Yeah, I know.
So, the creature called It is obviously not a clown at all. It is an ancient evil being that is perhaps billions of years old as the universe itself. It comes from the void that contains our entire universe called the Macroverse. Its home dimension is a realm called the Deadlights. In the novel, Billy glimpsed its true form in the Deadlights for a moment, and he described it as an endless, crawling, hairy creature made of orange light. Though it likes to manifest itself as a male clown named Pennywise in the novel, it also takes the form of an enormous female spider. Its natural enemy is another being from the Macroverse called the Turtle. The Turtle also appears in the Dark Tower series as one of the guardians of the beam. It describes itself as a superior being compared to the Turtle. It arrived on Earth in a cataclysmic event millions of years ago, landing in the section of North America where the town of Derry, Maine would eventually be built. It slumbered beneath the earth for millions of years, awaiting the arrival of mankind. When the town Derry was built in 1715, it awoke and began a cycle of feeding on the fears of the people of Derry, and then resuming hibernation for cycles of 27 to 30 years. It would prey on the children of Derry because children's fears are easier to harvest and manipulate. You know, it takes the form of Pennywise the Dancing Clown because it believes, clowns are scary to children. In the novel, however, Pennywise's real name is Bob Gray. It also influences the adults of Derry and passively ignored it and not interfere with its attacks on Derry's children. As Ben discovered when he researched Derry's history in the library, it has been a part of the terror and death in Derry for centuries. It was responsible for the explosion of the ironworks. It can also be awakened by an act of violence. The novel begins with a boy named, that's a weird name, Dorsey Corcoran is beaten to death by his stepfather, Richard Macklin, in 1957, which sparks it from its slumber. Because it manipulates the minds of the people of Derry, they don't dwell on the tragedies that occur. Therefore, despite the number of children who go missing, as we see in the film, adults just passively let it go, They don't care. They cover up all the missing flyers with new ones and forget about the old kids that have gone missing.
Oh, that's fucked
killed.
up. Wait, is that
That's
the end?
it. That's his origin.
Okay, Nick.
He's from another planet.
Okay, so this is actually a little harder than I thought it was going to be, because going into this, I thought out of the little bit of the origin story that I know for each, I thought Pennywise is for sure going to win. But hearing so much more about Freddy Krueger's backstory, it's harder to make that decision now.
Yeah, I get that. There's definitely a lot more going on with Freddy's backstory. I agree with you there.
Yeah, I mean, I do like that, like, with it, there's so much more information that we could have that we just don't know, and that just makes it more intriguing to me.
Yeah, the mystery behind it, you know.
Yeah, because I mean, with Freddy, I do like his backstory. It's an amazing backstory, in my opinion. But I think Pennywise wins just because of that mystery to it. Because, like, with Freddy Krueger, it's like, okay, it's a pretty typical,
he had a fucked up childhood.
It's a pretty typical backstory for a lot of killers, and so I like the mystery and in Pennywise's backstory. So that's who I'm gonna give the win to.
All right, nice.
God damn it! That's all I gotta say to that.
Here's that $20. I promise you.
Oh, you bastard! Yeah, you know what? The funny thing is that when he first started talking, I was like, "Oh, I'm getting the win for this one."
Right.
And then he was like, "No, psych," and that's what he did.
I thought so too.
God damn it!
Yeah, there's actually more to Pennywise's backstory, you know, as you delve into like the Dark Tower series books, where it talks more in depth, because in those books, that series, it actually ties together all of Stephen King's works.
Yeah, and that's another thing that I do like about that, is that with Stephen King's books being connected in that way, I do like that. So I think that also gives a little bit more to that mystery, because now you're like asking all these other questions, like from these other books that are connected to it.
Yeah, and I believe in the Dark Tower series books, it talks about Pennywise's influence on the other books and stuff. And in fact, upon my research, I actually found out that he makes an appearance in several other books.
Yeah, I did know about that as well.
And, you know,
cool.
So it's really cool. It almost makes him out to be like the more or less main character of the whole King universe, kind of seems like, you know.
So, a part of your research, did you do you have like what is his relation to the turtle?
So they're both superior beings. One of good, one of evil.
Okay, so they're
the turtle is more of a protector.
Yeah.
Of the human race and all beings. I mean, it is as he's self-proclaimed, a superior being to all, and that he is an eater of worlds. So he goes from world to world, and that's just what he does. As soon as all the life forms are gone, he can move on.
To be fair in that, it's kind of dumb. Like let me finish. In the sense that he calls himself the eater of worlds, but he gets a handful of kids and then just fucking goes to sleep for 27 years.
Yeah,
it's not really an eater or devourer of world. You know what I mean?
No, I agree with that. That's why he said he self-proclaims himself as that.
Okay, yeah,
you know, but he also self-proclaims himself as more powerful than the turtle, when in reality they're equal. They're equals.
Okay, well, so we are going on our next little thing. So you got the first point. Woohoo! Hopefully I can come back on you.
Yeah.
Next up, we're going with powers.
Ooh.
Okay.
This is going to be a tough one. I think that they're pretty equally matched in powers, I think.
I would say yes, but also I would say no. Different, but similar.
Well, I meant evenly matched. Not same powers, but just they're matched evenly.
Well,
because of their abilities of what they can do in their respective realms.
Well, I actually learned something about one of Freddy's powers, but I'll get into that.
Hit me up.
One of let's get in. Sorry, I'm getting all jumbled up here. Thanks to Freddy's communion with the dream demons, he was gifted with abilities well within the realm of altogether Uki. First and foremost, Kruger became the Denzian of the dream realm, which a plane of existence where human subconscious thought takes place. While there, he had the ability to manipulate reality and affect unconscious humans as long as he was still remembered and feared in the real world. His control over the dream world seemed just about unlimited. He could change his shape, move objects telepathically, and warp the physical manifestations of dreamers. As long as his victims were dreaming, Kruger could inhabit and control their dreams, twisting them to his own ends. He is also capable of entering a victim's mind via state of intoxication, whether the victim is drunk or stoned. Any physical harm done to a person in this dream world would carry over into the real world through exactly how differs significantly significantly between films. Allowing him to easily commit multiple murders, Kruger often toyed with his victims by changing his form and surroundings, usually resembling the boiler room where he brought his child victims that had been missing in the town. He also has the power to manipulate or possess any object or part of the dream environment not kept exclusively on the person of this victim at all times after initial creation, as he does in the 5th and 6th films. His powers increased from those originally granted to him based on how many knew and feared his existence, as well as how many souls were in his current possession. At the height of his powers, he could cause severe damage in the real world. This included possession of humans, as shown in the 2nd Nightmare film, briefly in the 5th, and Freddy vs. Jason. His corpse, as shown in the 3rd. Objects or animals, also shown in the 2nd, or even literally pulling a victim from the waking world into the dream world, as shown in the 5th. If one of Freddy's victims wakes up while they're holding on to him in the dream world, he can be carried into the real world where he's still superhumanly strong and durable, but he can be wounded. This was used for extensive fight scenes in the first film, Freddy's Dead and Freddy vs. Jason. In a person's own dream, Kruger could see into their minds and use their deepest fears and personality against them, which became his trademark in the films, at times taking an image of previous victims to help lure friends or relatives into their doom. A few victims managed to use their own imagination to consciously manipulate their dreams against him, a technique known as lucid dreaming, but this typically had little effect on Kruger, who remained in control of their dreams. Another of Kruger's powers involved absorbing the souls of his victims into his own body after they had been killed, which served to make him more powerful. As he gained a victim, their face would appear on his chest, each soul augmenting his power. Each soul he takes grants him the attributes of the victim. This has led him to acquire skills such as martial arts skills and high durability. In addition, he is a shapeshifter and can turn into anything such as a cockroach. He can also use the power on others in the Dream Master. He kills Debbie by transforming her into a cockroach and then crushing her inside a roach motel.
I remember that scene. That was epic.
That was an epic scene for sure.
Definitely one of my favorite death scenes of his.
Oh yeah, no, I definitely agreed on that.
Okay, so I did have a question. Towards the beginning of your story about his powers, you mentioned that he had become the Denzian. What is that exactly?
So that is basically like a so in the actual dream realm, it's like an evil godlike form or an evil godlike entity is what it is, and
okay.
What it was implying. So when the dream demons actually came to him and gave him all this power and ability, he actually basically became what's the word I'm looking for? I can't think of the fucking word. No,
a deity.
Yeah, basically a deity. Just dream evil form.
Right.
So
okay.
It's just their lore and into the actual thing. Sorry, I didn't know how to explain that. I didn't explain that very well, but I was chugging.
I think you did a good job explaining.
Okay, so I get what you're trying to say. So, I guess let's move on to Tristan.
All right, so Pennywise's powers include low-tier omit. Son of a.
That was the word I was
bitch.
looking for. That was. I'm just letting you know.
Okay, it has an immense amount of power, with only the turtle being its equal and Gan being its superior. It has telepathy. It can detect emotions and memories of an individual through apparently not thoughts, at least not from those who possess enough courage and willpower. It uses this ability to exploit fears, but also to implant... Sorry, make sure I got the right page. Implant minds of his victims using their fear. With the elaborate and apparently reality-bending visions, such as in It Chapter 2, where Bill relives his memories of first seeing it in the form of Georgie in the basement of his old house, all while actually being submerged in underwater, having no true effect on the real world. Invisibility. It can appear to only certain people and stay invisible from others. This is seen in few instances, like when adult Beverly encounters Pennywise at her former home, or when adult Ben Hanscom encounters it in the public library. This suggests that either A, only those aware of its existence are able to see them, or B, it can control who to appear visible by. It has telekinesis. It can make inanimate objects fall, float around, and or behave supernaturally without touch. This includes locking doors, bending space and time, gravity, and remotely adjusting electronic devices. It can control the weather. It's able to affect the weather in Derry's region. On more than one occasion, when the losers face it, the weather changes into a thunderstorm. Teleportation. It can teleport to any location within Derry. However, it cannot seem to leave the city. This may be because, as Bill says, Derry is it, and it is Derry. It has superhuman strength. It can tear the heads and limbs off of human bodies with extreme ease, either with arms or mouth. With his arms or mouth, it has superhuman speed. Bill notes that it can move at extreme speeds, claiming that it is way faster than an express train. Yeah. It can also steal people's souls and entrap them within the deadlights. It can... When it, in the form of a leper, encounters Eddie, it touches several plants and causes them to die. This is not an illusion, as the effect persists long after, so he can affect plants and everything else. Pretty much anything it can physically,
Any life
mentally,
force.
Not just life forces. He can mess with anything within the city limits of Derry.
Huh.
Weather, buildings, how buildings look, anything. As long as it's within the city limits of Derry, he has control over it.
And by the way, I'm sorry to interrupt. I figured out the word.
Yeah.
Omnipotent.
Thank you. I for whatever the life of me, I could not remember how to.
Yeah, and I just couldn't
yeah.
think of the word, and I was trying super hard. So sorry about that, guys. You can go on. My bad.
No, that's it. That's
Oh,
all
that
I got.
was it?
Yeah.
Nice.
That's his powers.
Okay, so one of my questions was, you mentioned Gan. I think it was?
Gan.
Did you go over that in your origin, or mention him or it?
No, I couldn't find a whole lot of mention about him. I think he might be more in like the Dark Tower series or something where they actually mention him. And then also I was trying to stay focused on the It character, not like get off on.
Yeah,
it's an easy rabbit hole to go down.
Yeah, it definitely is. Like I know Like, it has nothing to do with the powers, but I was just kind of curious about that because you did mention him. So you mentioned that he can't leave Derry. Is it that he can't or won't?
I think it's more that he won't. Because, I mean, he, at this point, after all these years, he can manipulate everything within Derry. And for him to leave, he'd probably take him forever to get that kind of control back.
Okay.
Somewhere else, is my opinion. I did not see anything that said one way or the other.
Okay, and then, so, with Freddy, can he leave Springwood?
Yes and no. Okay, so when he's technically in the dream realm, he can do anything and go anywhere in the dream realm. But so as seen in Freddy versus Jason, because Freddy took on the form as Jason's mother to trick him into going into Springwood, and there was distance between Camp Crystal Lake and Springwood, but he is technically trapped in Springwood. So
Okay, so I thought with Jason it was he found Jason in hell basically sleeping, because I mean Jason can't die, but he was in hell sleeping or something like that.
Yeah, he was taken to hell at the end of Jason Goes to Hell. Demons came up, grabbed his physical form, and drug him to hell.
Okay, so I mean I guess it's not really going to Camp Crystal Lake at that point. It's more so just going to hell and getting into Jason's dream. So I know, like, a little part of my research, I did come across that he can while possessing someone, like through a vessel, that he could leave. That's why I wanted to ask about that. But so with their powers, they're so similar. They're different powers, but they're so similar, and I think I'm going to split it on this one, just because it's hard to make that decision of who I think has the more power, because and I think along with weaknesses would maybe make a different story, but since we're only doing powers, I'm going to split it here.
Fair. I mean, that's a pretty good assessment.
I will take it.
Yeah, you will. So
what do we got for the score right now? What are we at?
It's 1.5 to half.
Woo!
You're catching, buddy.
Yeah, for the 1%ers out there, motherfucker. Yeah.
I just noticed that I am missing one of my pages here.
Oh, shit.
So what I'm going to have to do is read it off the laptop when my turn comes.
Googly. No, I'm just kidding.
But you're first up with the weaknesses, so while you're going through yours, folks, if you hear some mouse clicking, that's just me pulling up my page.
Sounds good to me. So, good news is Freddy's weakness list was pretty short. So in this instance, Freddy cannot spread his influence beyond Springwood. He can also be pulled out of the dream world, in which case he is mortal. Cannot use most of his powers, although he retains some of them, like climbing up the ceiling or shapeshifting into his unburnt self, as evidenced in Freddy's Dead, and can die. Despite the fact that he sometimes uses it to kill his victims, Freddy appears to be afraid of fire, as it was by fire that he died his mortal death. If fire is used against him in a dream, he can be pulled into the waking world. Freddy has died multiple times, only to keep returning to plague the town of Springwood. However, he cannot come back if people do not remember him. He has no power over those who aren't afraid of him. So that is his extent of weaknesses.
I like that. That's a pretty good list there.
Yeah, I definitely like it. One thing that does bother me a little, though, for your chances, is that he can't come back if he's forgotten.
Yeah, but with that same token, though, all it takes is one person to remember him.
Yeah, no, and I mean, like,
or one person to come across a
Freddy
news
versus
article.
Jason, that's exactly what happened, and he was able to force his way back in a sense.
Yeah, which, I mean, that worked out pretty well for Freddy in that case, where he used Jason to come back and...
Which, I mean, if you really think about it, Freddy... I know this isn't helping me, but Freddy kind of cheated.
I don't know that he necessarily cheated. I mean, he was smart enough to trick Jason into killing the bad teenagers to bring back fear so people would remember Freddy. I mean,
is it really cheating if you're a murderer?
Yeah, do they really cheat? I mean, come on.
I mean, I guess not. So, fair. I'm not trying to go against myself here, I promise.
In fact, we just helped you a little bit.
Thank you. Woo!
Okay, so now for Pennywise's weaknesses. It underestimates and scorns all of mankind. In many cases, it leaves an open escape route for victims and lets them run away. Because of this narcissism, it makes mistakes and does illogical things. The presence of courage and heart are its main weaknesses. This appears to have psychological effect that instills fear and enables it the inability to function properly in its physical form. Given that it feeds on fear, it makes sense that courage and heart can overcome it. Once the losers are united, their strong shared will and love for each other successfully overpowers it. This allows them to form a psychic connection and send power to each other, even across distances. It can be taken by surprise and can be physically assaulted if the attacker demonstrates no fear of it. Additionally, belief can affect it, such as the use of silver, which is a fictional weakness of supernatural entities, and an inhaler believed to contain battery acid. I always thought that was such a great thing, that they use their mental belief that... So, the novel states that it must obey the laws of its form. This means that it possesses the vulnerabilities of whatever form it takes, such as a vampire's vulnerability to sunlight, or winged leeches obeying physics of flight. During times of hibernation or healing, it may be vulnerable to surprise attacks. However, other books in the Stephen King universe, such as Dreamcatcher, imply that it may still be alive at the end of the story. Other beings like Gan, who is superior to it, and the turtle, who is its equal, could kill it. And that's what I got.
That's what you got for that one? Okay, so here's my thing. Before I give it to you, Nick. So my thing is that it's kind of limited. It is limited. For the fact being that its weakness is what it pertains to what form it's in. Okay.
Right. Yeah. It's subject to actual physical form limitations.
Yeah, well, which sucks because I mean, I'm not trying to.
It does, but that's why it tries to instill fear. So then it can quickly change to a different form.
Right, and no, I get that. I also I do gotta say, sorry, Nick. At least Freddy got beaten by a bunch of teenagers. It was beaten by a bunch of little kids.
Hey, he was
drop.
He was only hurt by them. He went, recouped, and came back, and then he fucked them up again as adults.
I mean, also to be fair though, they do call themselves the losers,
right? So, I mean, they clearly lose a lot, and then the fact that
to get beat by the losers, the self-proclaimed losers, is pretty bad.
Right? He may have lost the battle, but he's not down and out per se. The books have even suggested as much that he's not dead. At the end of it, he's not dead. He's hibernating and tending to his wounds.
Well, okay, but you could also say the same thing about Freddy for the fact being that he's not dead. he's just waiting in hell until somebody remembers him as well.
Right.
And but like with it, I mean, yeah, it's funny that the losers beat him and everything like that, but at the same time, his narcissism and it just, which is stupid.
His greatest downfall.
Well, exactly. Him thinking that, oh, well, this doesn't fucking matter. I could just take out a bunch of kids. Like, it doesn't matter. But they're still like, oh, we're gonna, we're not afraid of you. We're gonna beat your ass as little kids. And then when you were saying, because it made me think about it for a second, because you were like, well, they may have won the battle, but not the war. But again, they came back and kicked his ass a second time.
Yeah, he still wasn't done, though. I mean, he went away, tended to his wounds. It's suggested that he is not dead at all. He's still just waiting to come back.
Okay, so when I was doing my research, I didn't look a lot into it because I was hoping that it would be big enough that you would give me a lot more detail about it. But what is the ritual of Chud?
Oh boy, the ritual of Chud. Man, I should have known you were going to ask this. I did not pull up the full details of it. Now,
I'm curious as well. What is this Chud?
If you give me a quick second, I will actually do a Google search of it.
Do it googly.
Ahead and, entertain yourself.
Okay, but before I gotta know, Nick. Honestly, like, I get that Freddy was beaten by teenagers, and he did come back and slay, if you will, the same people over and over again. And even if he did lose, like, I get that he lost to some of the same people, but with those same people, they ended up learning how to defend and fight back for themselves. Kind of like the losers, and this is why I enjoy this topic versus Freddy versus Pennywise. They are so similar.
Yeah,
like powers, weaknesses. Like it's very very together, just different.
I think they're evenly matched. I mean, all in all, they're evenly matched. It's not like taking Pennywise versus, like, say, Michael Myers. I mean, that's kind of a disadvantage there because Pennywise is this all-knowing, powerful being.
I don't know.
And Michael Myers is just a dude with a knife.
Is he though? That motherfucker will get up.
Well, it depends on which one you look at because there's several different timelines and stuff of the Michael Myers series.
Yeah.
So it depends on which one you follow as to what he can and can't do.
Yeah, and I mean, really, did it in any of those timelines? Did it necessarily say, other than, like, what was it? I think 6. Halloween 6 that they specifically said, like, yeah, he was, like,
part of a cult.
Yeah.
That's the only one that I can recall off the top of my head that said anything in particular about it. That's the supernatural Sam Hain tie-in and stuff.
So I never really, with this though, I never really thought about how similar Pennywise and Krueger were. And so it's definitely interesting. I can tell you now, like, who I'm leaning towards winning, if you guys want to know.
Or you can...
Or I can wait until you talk about this.
I have the Ritual of Chud.
No, you're waiting, motherfucker, because I still think I have a chance.
He thinks he has a chance. Okay, so in King's novel, the Ritual of Chud involves two parties metaphorically and spiritually biting down on each other's tongues and telling jokes until one party, the losing party, laughs. It's a physical battle of wits waged with the power of belief in the vast expanse of the macroverse. So it's a battle of wits.
Okay, so
you have to outsmart the other.
So basically what it is it would be, because that's one of his weaknesses. It would be Pennywise and someone else going against us, and if he loses, he loses.
Yeah, so you really want to have, like, Jeff Dunham on your side or something like that. Somebody that can tell some really good jokes
without their tongue.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I would love to see that match going on, like fucking Peanut versus Pennywise.
Ahmed
the dead terrorist. I kill you. Like,
silence.
Exactly. I think that would go swimmingly.
That would be hilarious.
Okay. So, who's got to win for this topic?
For this round.
Yeah, for this round on weaknesses.
It was a hard decision, but I do have a winner.
Before you go, I just have one quick question. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. But how exactly are we scoring weaknesses in this round? Are we going by who has a better ability to come back from the weakness, or whose weaknesses are not as bad as the other?
I'm going with okay, so not really who can come back, because there's no it seems like there's no true way to end either character for real, like completely. So I'm just going with, like, if I had to fight one, who would I want to fight? Because I think I could beat them the easiest.
Sounds like upcoming episodes. Nick versus...
Yeah, it's going to be Nick versus Pennywise. Because Krueger wins this round.
Nice.
No fucking way.
Nice.
Okay, I gotta
finally win.
I gotta ask why? Why does Krueger win this round? Because I was actually almost sure that he was gonna.
I'm interested in hearing this as well, like your explanation as to why you chose Freddy.
So, I mean, like I said, so like with their weaknesses, like for the there was so much about them that was like, oh well, they're similar. Like, okay, like if you don't fear them, because I know, like I read with like Krueger, like if you just stop fearing him, like okay, like he can still hurt you, but it weakens him. And the same thing with Pennywise, like okay, yeah, if you stop fearing him, but like courage is one of his weaknesses. Like that, not fearing him is one of his weaknesses. And then the ritual of Chud, I just thought was kind of really dumb. Like
yeah, there's other parts of the book that are extremely dumb. You know, like when the losers are kids and they beat Pennywise the first time around, they somehow forget how to get out. Like they forgot which path to take, and to remember, they pretty much have a child orgy. What? And somehow that brings back their memories to remember how to get out of the sewer. I mean, there's a little more to it than that, but that's the gist of it that I recall from that part of the book. And it's like, what the fuck?
A fucking orgy, and there was only one chick on that entire team. Like, right? What the shit?
Right? She had sex with all of them.
So it's not an orgy; it's a gangbang.
Whatever, however you want to look at it. Whatever.
I mean, there could be some dude on dude action there, I guess, but
yeah, we don't know.
I don't
want to know.
Actually, no. Wasn't it? I haven't actually seen the second movie. Like,
it's not in any of the movies.
Well, no. I know.
I'm just wanting to put that out right now.
It's not in the second movie, but it isn't in the second movie one of the characters gay?
Yes, okay, he is. So, and in the book, he is also.
Okay, so he is also gay in the book.
That is part of the problem.
There could be some man-on-man action during this.
Definitely.
Making it an orgy.
Definitely. You know,
I like how we're talking about child orgies right now.
Right. Okay. So we should definitely get back on track and get away from that topic, because that's a dangerous slippery
red zone. Red zone. We've got the FBI knocking on the fucking door.
Our next round is what makes them scary. So go ahead, take it away, Freddy.
Take it away. You want me to kick your butt again on another round?
I don't know, man. I mean, I don't know how long your list is, but mine's pretty thick.
So just so you know, Ethan, you are tied. So I mean, you're not really kicking his butt right now. You're just tying with him.
You're making a comeback. You're the comeback kid.
Yeah, I know. It's called the underdog. Up and away, motherfuckers.
That's what you call it these days? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Come on in my room. Let's do the underdog.
So this is... these are also on the different movies, and I'm gonna name the
nope.
movie.
You do what you gotta do.
Yeah. Okay. So, number 1, face your fears. The most direct route is to choose not to believe. Oh, wait.
Are you on the wrong page?
I did an uh-oh. Yeah,
it sounds like you did an uh-oh there, buddy.
Yeah, I did.
Maybe you should number your pages.
No, they are numbered. I just didn't.
I completely lost a page, so I mean, you're doing better than me at that point.
That is true. Okay.
I had printer issues.
So actually, it was really hard to find stuff that was what makes him actually scary. For the fact being that Freddy Krueger is not just a horror and like just scary icon. He is, but it's also a comedic relief. Right.
Yeah, I also feel like I had a hard time finding things as well that directly pinpointed for Pennywise as well. So
all you have to say is clown. You win. No, I'm just kidding. No, I don't want this point. But I don't. But here's what I got. Okay. The child killer in the red and green sweater struck a strong silhouette on screen with his clawed glove and burned skin. Unlike similar killers of the era, like Michael Myers of Halloween and Jason Voorhees on Friday the 13th, Freddy isn't a silent, hulking shape that hunts teenagers without saying anything for himself. Freddy Krueger has much more personality and dialogue than any other slashers. Freddy Krueger as a character has been often described as terrifying. This is because of what he was during his life as a child murderer and then as a dream demon, where he killed victims within their sleep. However, there are some arguably more tangible fears that the Springwood slasher also represents. According to Robert Englund, Freddy is supposed to represent the children's neglect at the hands of the the parents of their own personal subconscious fears, and considering everything that the teenagers have to go through in the Elm Street movies, from stubbornly ignorant adults to Freddy turning their insecurities into reality. So, yeah, sorry for botching that fucking last part, but
okay, yeah,
that is all I really got.
No, that's pretty good, man.
Because for the fact being that Freddy,
it's hard to find one particular thing that makes him scary. When he controls your dreams, he can make everything scary to you.
Well, see, and I was going to mention his powers, but then stuff like that. But then I was like, no, because that would be just going back to what his abilities are. You know what I mean? So it doesn't necessarily. Yeah, it makes him scary in that fact. But honest to God, I think he's just a great comedic relief in a horror movie.
He's an all-around good character, I think.
And his portrayal from Robert Englund is just fucking
Robert
amazing.
Englund's portrayal of that character is phenomenal, and Robert Englund himself is a phenomenal actor.
Okay, so I thought you guys were going a little bit of a different route with this. I thought it was going to be more so like what makes them scary to the watcher or the reader, I guess, in the comic books. So I know with Krueger, there was this thing, I don't know how true it is, but that he was supposedly based off of a group of people that had immigrated here that basically it was something to do with like sleep paralysis, so they were dying in their sleep of like heart attacks.
Yes.
So is that part of how we're judging this, or should I throw that out the window?
No, I definitely think that's part of it, because sleep paralysis plays a huge part in the Freddy Krueger mythos. I mean, a lot of the kids try to stay up and not sleep so they don't dream, and then in the sleep paralysis state, he comes in and takes over.
Yeah, but are you talking about what he's based on, though? That's not what makes him scary.
Well, that's part of what makes him scary as far as I'm concerned, because they do cover that in the movies, the sleep paralysis.
Okay, but that's not what I'm referring to. Like, I know, like, yeah, that's part of it in the movies, but I'm meaning real life, like our real life.
Right.
Him being based off of a actual real life group of people that suffered from sleep paralysis and died in their sleep of heart attacks.
No, I get what you're referring to.
I think we're sticking with the characters themselves.
I do understand, because I actually was, when I was reading and doing some research, there were there was a couple different things that was actually true, that Wes Craven actually got the idea from a thing that happened in LA at the time, and people were dying in their sleep. Correct. It was also referred to that he had a dream, or not, it was either a dream or it happened. As
a little kid, there was a guy who used to stand outside his
window,
and he could see him,
and he had a fedora,
and that's part of where the look came from.
Yeah. Did you know that one, Nick?
I did not know about that one.
Yes.
Yeah, that'd be a little creepy, like just a little kid looking out my window.
Right,
like,
you see this guy out there constantly
standing outside my window.
And it was a 2-story house, if I recall.
Okay, but
he would look down at this guy, like, I remember in one of the interviews, I might get a little bit of the information wrong, but I'm pretty certain that he said that at one time he looked down at this guy, and he actually looked up at him.
Did this guy have a knife, glove knife hand thing?
I don't think so. I'm fairly certain he was just a creepy guy in a fedora standing in the dark looking at a little kid through his window.
There was a bus stop there, and that guy was just going to work.
That's probably what it really was, is a bus stop, you know? You guys just trying to go make a living.
Yeah, no, exactly. That probably is 100% what it could be. Wes Craven's just like, oh God, no.
Well, I mean, as a kid, you see things like that, and this guy's consistently out your window every night.
It's basically,
and you, as a little kid, your imagination just goes wild.
It's the sweater in the closet concept.
The Christmas sweater.
Yeah, the Christmas sweater. Nice one. Nice touch. Very, very well so, honestly.
All right, are you ready to hear what makes Pennywise scary?
I am so much into this.
You ready to shake in your little Freddy boots there?
No, I am not shaking my little Freddy boots, and he wears shoes, I'm pretty sure.
No, I meant you have boots that have Freddy on them.
No, I'm not shaking. I'm not scared yet. I don't know if I'm gonna win this round, but I'm still confident in the game.
All right. Well,
I guess we'll just have to see. I mean, like, I think I'm gonna basically judge it in a similar way to like how I judge other rounds. Like, if I was facing one, who am I going to be more scared? Or if I'm watching the movies, who am I going to be more scared of as someone? Because like I'm not scared of either movie, just because like that I don't get scared by the movies. But if I was someone who is getting scared by the movies, like which one do I think, with all the knowledge of like, okay, what are they based on? What makes that character scary? Right. So I guess let's hear about it.
Okay, so what makes it scary? Perception control. He's in control of what you see, and thus everywhere in the town is his playing field. Not just the sewers he travels through and lives in. He has home field advantage everywhere in this town because he is the town. When your best weapon is to just close your eyes and believe that's all a trick, you might not make it out at all. You know, he knows your weaknesses. Whether you're self-conscious or most guilty about is his bread and butter. The guilt from giving the newspaper boy boat to your little brother that got his arm ripped off, your dead father, your abusive father, your weight issues. But the strangest has to be your burning flame of 30 years, just so he can make out with you really quick. Although it does not do the same psychological damage to the bearded wonder. It is the setting, the town. You, your desired girlfriend, your parents, your teachers, everything. The fact that It is more than just a serial killer or twisted spider being. It encompasses the whole landscape, the nature of all the people there. The cloudiness of your mind is part of it. What makes Pennywise, or it, scarier than most any other monster, serial killer, or disease is that it's more than any of those people or things could be. The otherworldly nature combined with the massive encompassing dread makes Pennywise, or it, the stuff nightmares wish they could be part of.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So I mean,
Okay, so I do have a couple questions for you really quick.
okay.
So I should have asked this earlier actually, but
Yeah, you should have. Slacker.
okay,
You're fired.
fine. So you don't have to be sleeping, right? He can appear to you while you're awake.
Yeah, he can come at you at any time.
I thought that's what it was, but I also
Day,
wanted to
night,
clarify.
holidays. He doesn't take days off
I also
except
wanted to
for
clarify.
when he's hibernating for 27 years.
Yeah. So another question, really quick, is is there anything about like where is the story based, or is it entirely made up?
As far as I know, it's entirely made up.
Okay.
In this dream fictional world universe that Stephen King has elaborately put together.
Okay. So with that, then I guess I should make my decision of if I was a character in each of these movies or comic or book or however, wherever you want to put it, I think the more terrifying one would be Pennywise, just for that fact that he can come at you at any point. Like, you don't have to be sleeping, you don't have to be dreaming, because like, so there's certain things you can do to not dream, because there are drugs that you can take to that get rid of your dreaming. So I mean, if you figure that part out, or you just move out of town or whatever. Even with
Pennywise, you move out of town. He's like,
he's gonna be like, oh well,
there goes my lunch.
And I mean, I guess, but also with Pennywise, like if you move, you're not gonna be a 5-year-old like, hey mom, I'm moving.
Right,
like,
yeah.
She's gonna be like, no, go to your room.
Go to bed. Yeah, and I think that's part of the reason why he also goes after kids. Besides the fact that he could scare them because of their imaginations and everything, it's easier to scare them versus adults. But then also, kids don't have the control to be able to, like you said, just pack up, and move.
And I mean, I guess with Freddy, like, it's teenagers, so they don't necessarily have that option either. But just the fact that he can only come at them in their dreams, and Pennywise can come at you at any time, like day or night. So Pennywise does win this round.
All right. Nice.
I can agree with that. I do have one point to make out though about Pennywise.
Okay.
So, and I actually have a question. So, for the 27 years that he actually goes into slumber, how long is he awake? Is it like Jeepers Creepers, where he's out for what is it?
Like a year.
Is it a year that Pennywise is out?
A year, and then he's eating all these kids
and people
and some adults, travelers that come through, that don't know any better. They're like, oh, look, a clown in a storage train. That's not weird at all. Let's go talk to him. He has balloons.
Yeah, that is not something that happened in real life.
Maybe way back in the day, like in the 70s, people might have been weird like that. I don't know, but these days, I don't feel like anybody's gonna be like, hey,
they're all hopped up on acid.
Yeah, that's actually the summer of love. Yeah. It's not like these days where people are going to see that in a sewer and be like, hey, psst, come over here. I got some balloons down here. Come on, kid. Like, and one kid's going to be like, okay. These days, I mean, I feel like if it was set in now times, he would have a hell of a lot harder time with kids. Because, I mean, honestly, kids do not have the imaginations that we did growing up.
No.
And they're so technologically driven that I feel like he would have a hard time, whereas Freddy would, I think, succeed in those areas
with the manipulation
with the manipulation of
yeah.
video games and stuff, if it was set in today's time frame.
Well, I do have to agree with you because, like, what is Pennywise going to be? A dead battery phone? Like,
hey, that's pretty fucking scary to a little kid when their laptop dies and they're watching Paw Patrol or whatever.
Jesus.
Well, that's exactly what I was thinking. I was thinking a broken phone, not a dead battery, but I mean, same thing either way.
Yeah, he could be a broken phone that then turns into a fucking spider and comes after you.
That'd be sick, though.
Is this little phone with 8 legs and a sharp, jagged teeth just coming after you, and it's like bouncing all over the place? I mean, come on.
Especially like you like you're a little kid, you're playing on your phone, and then your phone dies, and you're like, oh well, now I gotta go get my charger, and then it just turns into a spider and tries to fucking eat you, and then you're like, that would be terrifying.
Or is you're playing a game on your phone and you go to tap it, and all of a sudden the screen just like opens up and these sharp, jagged teeth like bite your finger off. Like, that would be terrifying.
Yeah, I gotta say, fuck that. If I saw that, porn would be very difficult. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, you're in your Oculus.
Yeah. So what? So now I have 1.5 points, and Tristan has 2.5 points.
Correct.
Oh man.
Last round.
This
ladies
is gonna
and
be
gentlemen.
tough because if you get the point on this one, I don't know what we're gonna do for a sudden death.
So here's what we're gonna do.
Because I didn't prepare for a sudden death.
This last point, we're gonna make it just because we are at that point where it could technically be a tie. This round's gonna be worth 3 points.
Okay.
So that way,
Keeps from getting tied up.
yeah.
Okay.
So that way, there's going to be an ultimate winner.
Okay. I agree with that.
So
Because I was like, I did not prepare for a sudden death match.
Well, what I was going to say is if there is a sudden death match, I was just going to say, okay, so when I thought of versus, when I was first told, like, hey, you're judging a versus round, I thought it was going to be like, you guys were going to lay out, like, who the characters were and blah, 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 and, like, you guys were going to make them fight and explain to me why that your character would win.
I see. Well,
so I had a question for you that isn't going to get covered, that I didn't think you were ever going to cover either way, just because of that, and it was whether or not Pennywise dreams while he's sleeping.
that's a very good question, actually. As the all-knowing, all-powerful being that he is, I would assume that he would probably dream of murdering more kids and dreaming of ways to kill more kids.
well, it is said that he goes to sleep for 27 years.
Yeah.
So
he's got a dream at some point.
Yeah, exactly. I would imagine, even as an omnipotent being that he is, if I said that right, I'm pretty sure I
think you did.
Okay.
I think so.
You would have to dream.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just my
so at
opinion.
that point, could Freddy sneak into his dreams and like start fucking with him?
Well, yeah.
But then he's still this all-powerful being. Would Freddy really fuck him up that bad?
Well, I mean, yeah, but Freddy could show up as, like, a child that just doesn't fear Pennywise. And, like...
That would turn into quite the nightmare for Pennywise there,
like
especially in his own dream.
His dream of, like, he's killing all these kids that are so afraid of him, and then Freddy shows up just as a kid, like, yeah, like, fuck you, dude, like, I don't care, like you're
what's
not
up,
that
you
scary.
fucking clown bitch?
And I think that would be Pennywise's biggest fear, and it's just whether or not, like,
how he handled it from there,
So that was kind of a question for me, but then again, like, if he doesn't dream, then Freddy could never really do anything to him unless he somehow gets pulled into the real world to fight him, and then at that point he's pretty weak anyways, so there's not much he can do. Just because, like, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely a good question.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with you on that. I do have to say something. I know we're getting so off topic on
That's
some
all right.
of these.
That's what
but
this is all about.
I'm enjoying this conversation for sure. But did you know? And this is actually legit. And when I was looking it up, the director and producer for the new It franchise.
Okay.
So in the first one, when they were kids, what they wanted to do, but they thought it would be a little bit too much to do. So, and they wanted to do something else. Was use Freddy as one of the fears because it was brought into the 80s.
Okay, so and I know that I missed this earlier in page because this
Is it the page that you lost?
It might have been on the page that I lost where it talks about his powers. Shapeshifting. Yes, I did forget to mention this during his powers.
No, I think
I'm not asking for a recount or anything of that vote, but in it talks about where in the book he shapeshifts into different horror beings. One of them being the creature from the Black Lagoon,
the Wolfman,
Frankenstein, and one of the kills he actually I'm not going to talk about that particular kill because I actually have it written down, but he shapeshifts into all these different horror movie characters to go after these kids.
Well, and that's what they were wanting to do for the time frame that it was in. So back in the 80s,
because
when
I remember in it chapter 2 or the first one, they showed the theater, and Freddy was playing.
Yeah, and so it was they actually left that in there for a reason because that was kind of like an Easter egg of something that they thought of doing. So when I was reading into it, which was really cool. Yeah.
It's too bad that they couldn't agree on the licensing to make that happen, you know. I'm sure that's what a lot of that stuff comes down to is film licensing.
Okay, so I know earlier you said like so when he is shapeshift into something, he has to follow the rules of that.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I know there was one where
he does not shapeshift into a dildo. Okay.
No, I know there was one where he shapeshift into Jaws.
Yes.
Does he have to stay in the water?
I would assume that he would have to stay in the water. Yeah.
Like, did you look into that?
It's in here.
Oh, it is.
I have not gotten to that yet.
That's what I was asking. Is that part in there?
It's. I got it here. There's certain things that I kept from talking about previously because it is talked about in another section. So I just didn't want to double do it.
Okay, and with that note, let's get into it. Best kills.
Freddy.
Set and go. Jennifer Caulfield was one of the teenagers in a Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors that was a patient at Weston Hills Asylum. After her friend Philip is killed by Freddy, Jennifer tries to stay awake by watching TV on the rec room and smoking a cigarette. As she dozes in and out, she sees Freddy on the TV attack someone on a talk show. Before the screen goes to static, Jennifer stands up to adjust the set when Freddy's arms and hands break out of the TV and grab her. Freddy says the now famous line, "Welcome to primetime, bitch," and pulls Jennifer's head through the screen. Oh, yes.
Sorry, I just wanted to point out that line was totally improvised.
Yeah, and it's actually one of my favorite kills.
It's one of my favorite kills.
Yeah,
of his.
100%. The second one I have, Johnny Depp, which is a beloved man,
and his first movie.
Yes, it was his first movie. Is by far the biggest actor that has come out of a Nightmare on Elm Street series. His character in the first film was Glenn Lance, who was dating Nancy Thompson, Heather Langenkamp. Like all the Nancy's friends, Glenn has a brutal death at the hands of Fred Krueger. After Glenn falls asleep while he is waiting for it to strike midnight, he is pulled through the center of his mattress. It isn't revealed how he is killed by Krueger, but all that is left of Glenn is gallons and gallons of blood which erupts from his bed. Which in that scene, actually, a little bit of fact, that whole scene was filmed upside down, and they just poured that shit going out from under his bed. And it was probably, I think, one of the most one of the first movies to use that much blood in a scene. I think it was the most goriest scene in film history. One of them.
I think you're right. That is also one of my all-time favorite kills in a movie.
Yeah, for sure.
Just that the way that they did that whole scene and everything is just phenomenal.
Oh yeah, if you guys haven't seen it, go check it on YouTube. It's fucking cool.
It might be on Netflix or Amazon Prime or Hulu.
It's one of
as
the
well, just
documentaries.
the whole movie. Yeah, or the documentaries. Never Sleep Again.
Yeah,
is a documentary. It is on Shudder, I believe.
Yeah,
there's also a documentary on the second film called Scream Queen.
Okay, I know what you're talking about.
It is also on Shudder.
Yeah, I would definitely suggest go checking that out if you haven't already. My third one that I got two more. Philip Anderson was admitted as a patient at Weston Hills Asylum for being suicidal, but in reality, the poor teenager was just being tormented by Freddy Krueger. The character was known for sleepwalking, which is how Krueger killed him. After one of Philip's marionettes morphs into Freddy, Freddy grows full size and slits Philip's arms and legs open and pulls out his tendons. Krueger, now morphed into giant Freddy, walks Philip like a marionette with his tendons to the edge of a tower, cuts his tendons, and lets Philip fall to his death. And the fourth one, which I think Nick is really going to like because it's another one of my favorites. Dan Jordan, played by Danny Hassel, was first introduced in Nightmare on Elm Street 4, The Dream Master, but had a much bigger role in The Dream Child. Dan is the father to Alice Johnson's son, Jacob, but unfortunately Jacob grew up without a father, thanks to Freddy. Freddy kills Dan by literally turning himself into a motorcycle. The wires of the bike dig into Dan's skin and fuse his body to the machine. By the end, the cyborg-looking Dan has no control over how fast the bike is going and wakes up just as he is about to be hit by a semi-truck. And
nice. That is one of my favorites.
Oh, dude, he looks dope as shit. He look a robot. Fucking, it's basically RoboCop is what it looks like, but in motorcycle form,
but more badass.
Exactly,
badass looking.
Okay, so I know we talked earlier that it was going to be like how elaborate the kills are, but did you get a number for how many kills Freddy had?
Yes, I actually did. There isn't as many as Pennywise, I can tell you that. But Freddy did make sure that his kills were very elaborate, like you said. But there were 40 victims that died to Freddy. So
nice.
Yeah.
Does that include the comics?
The comics didn't make those deaths canon. Apparently.
Oh, okay.
So they're not. I mean,
okay.
They're. I don't know. There's a lot of wiggle room talk because there's a lot of people that say it is canon and it isn't.
Right.
The main and very agreed upon number is 40 victims.
Okay. I was curious about that as well.
Okay. Does that count from when he was still alive, though?
Yes. That counts when he was murdering the little children.
Okay. So yeah, those are definitely very elaborate kills and very interesting. So I guess let's learn what it is bringing to the table.
Okay, well, it is bringing a laptop to the table because it has forgotten a page or two. Again, printer issues.
God damn it.
Yes, damn it. Okay.
It wasn't actually printer issues, was it? You were watching porn and you forgot to print it out, and you were like, "Oh crap! I got this page sticky. I got to print it out again." And then you were just like, "Oh no, I'm out of time. Can't."
Shit! It's like you were there.
Whoa! I was not, but goddamn, Nick,
you must have been in the closet
getting sticky icky over there.
I knew I saw a camera flash.
Yeah, sorry about that. It wasn't a camera flash.
You're just using your flashlight?
No, it's just the hidden cameras in your house.
When did you put those in?
Not going to tell you that.
Son of a bitch.
And I'm not going to tell you how many or where they are.
I just want copies.
Just don't look too closely at the goldfish in your tank.
I stare at those bastards all the time.
Oh, one of those was replaced.
The goldfish?
One of them.
Going all Red Dwarf on me. One of the goldfish is a robot.
One of the goldfish is a robot with a camera. Yes. And
that's pretty sweet, actually.
And at night, it does come out of your tank and walk around.
You know, I've wondered that. I see puddles of water on the ground all the time. I kept thinking it was a dog pissing on the floor. Now I know it's the robotic fish getting out of the fish tank.
Don't lie. That's not puddles of water.
Oh. I'm not even going to touch that one. I'm going to move on to my kills. So, based on all the events referenced in the book and the people mentioned, by the way, this is taken from somebody else's account. He went through all the legwork of adding all this crap up. I don't have time for that shit.
Yeah.
I do have a day job.
Yeah, I know there are people that do that kind of thing.
Wait, you praise them. I mean, that's awesome, because otherwise I wouldn't have these numbers.
Yeah.
But, so based on the events referenced in the book and the people mentioned, I came up with this. And by the way, there's some spoilers if you've not seen it or read the book.
I haven't seen the second movie, so avoid spoilers.
I'll do the best I can.
I mean, it's been out for like, what, a year at least?
Yeah. So you need to get on that shit.
I have it. I just haven't watched it.
Okay. So the base total I came up with was between 577 and 611 people through the events and people, adults and kids, we see or are told die. This includes through the Ironworks, the Black Spot, the collapse of Derry, the Bradley Gang, and so forth. And then it worked out that Derry has existed for around 270 years. And that, his cycle is every 27 years. So he naps for 27 years and wakes up and goes on a killing spree. So based on, and that's all based off of Mike's diary, added the figures of how many people die per year, approximately 40 to 60-ish, depending on how hungry that little bastard is. And the number of years outside of the cycle, giving a value of between 10,400 and 15,600. Then I added in the cycle of years where the value jacks up around 3 times as bad, which gives us additional deaths of 1,200 to 1,800. Which doesn't sound like a lot, but 10 years or so, giving Pennywise a grand total of anywhere from 12,177 and 18,011 deaths. So, I mean, that's a pretty big number, which obviously we already knew based on how old it is and how old Freddy is, that it was going to have larger numbers, obviously.
Yeah, no, I already knew that the numbers are definitely going to be beat for me.
Oh, yeah. And so because my page is missing, I'm continuing here. So 340 settlers died of unknown causes, but were possibly killed by Pennywise. John Markson's entire family poisoned by John Markson under the influence of Pennywise. Several animals have been mutilated by him. And this just takes place between 1957 and 1958. 88 children and 14 adults killed when the Kitchener of the Iron... that doesn't read right. When the Ironworks exploded. Several people inside the Black Spot crushed underneath the rubble when the place collapsed after being burned down by a cult, which Pennywise was influencing the cult. So a lot of the deaths and stuff, he either does himself, or the really big elaborate ones, he gets people to do it for him under his influence. 1957, 1958, Georgie Dembro had his arm ripped off and was devoured. The movie varies differently from the book, whereas the book, his dead lifeless body is found and a neighbor brings his body to the parents. So they actually had the body. They knew for a fact he was dead. Whereas the movies tried to make it out like, we don't know, he's just missing, blah, 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 you know. Where he was actually dead, you know. Betty Ripson was eaten. Veronica Grogan, eaten. Cheryl LaMonica, killed. Matthew Clements, killed. Eddie Cochran, decapitated while he was in the form of the Gill Man. Esther Sinclair was killed by him. Jim Cullum was killed by him. Patrick Hockstetter, who is a very interesting character. If you have not read the books, the movie does not even touch on Patrick Hockstetter. He is a very demented and twisted kid. He killed his child brother, and he has also killed several animals. Like in the movies, I don't know if you remember or not, in the remake movie, where they're searching for Ben down in the woods by the river and stuff, and Patrick Hockstetter standing there. The other bully runs up, and Patrick sends him one direction, and he goes the other. The reason why he did that is because the direction that Patrick Hockstetter went is his secret little hideout where he has all these dead animals strung up and stuff. And actually, at one point in the book, he took Beverly there and was going to rape her. So I mean, he is definitely a really fucked up kid.
Yeah, and Jesus Christ.
And there's I think that's all under the influence of Pennywise. You know, I believe that. They don't necessarily hint on it one way or the other, but Peter Gordon was impaled. Moose Sadler was impaled. Butch Bowers was stabbed in the neck by Henry Bowers under the influence of Pennywise. Victor Criss was decapitated by Pennywise in the form of Frankenstein's monster. Which I would have loved to have seen that. Belch Huggins, his face was ripped off by Pennywise in the form of Frankenstein's monster. So I think it's awesome that he comes at you as this monster, and then you get killed by this famous monster. I mean, try explaining that if you're a 5-year-old and you walk down the alley and you see the creature from the Black Lagoon ripping some guy's arm off.
Yeah, no shit.
You know, of course the parents aren't going to believe that. They're going to be like, "What the hell?"
And I know I didn't say anything about it before, but what years were these ones?
These ones are up here, 1957 to 1958.
Okay.
So again, the year time span that he gets to kill. Now, this covers several different years. There are quite a few deaths that I took out of this original list because I didn't feel like they fit, per se. I know that these aren't as detailed or elaborate as Freddy's kills. But, you got Sharon Dembrow, Arlene Hanscom, Wentworth Tozier, Maggie Tozier. They all died of unknown causes. Nothing says why they died. It could have been Pennywise related. It could have been naturally. I mean, the thing is,
Freddy Krueger showed up and killed them.
And that's a possibility. Because the thing is that with Pennywise, being the whole town, he controls everything in the town. Anything's possible as far as what it could have been as him. So like a lot of these last ones here I have on my list, there's a lot of names, but a lot of unknowns. Like, they're just dead. Like, they fell off the face of the earth. Greta Bowie killed in a car crash. Calvin Clark was electrocuted by a falling electricity cable during a violent storm, which, again, he controls the weather. So, Tony Tracker, unknown causes. Chief Andrew Rademacher, killed in a violent storm, probably the same storm as Calvin Clark, sorry. 1984, 1985. Adrian Mellon, killed by Pennywise after being beaten and thrown over a bridge by a gang of homophobic bullies who were then arrested. Which that scene is depicted in the movies.
Yeah, and the second one.
Yes. I'm not going to give too many details on that because you have not seen it. But it is a pretty moving scene, actually, and it accurately depicts homophobic bullies, you know, and had the backwoods mentality that a lot of people have.
Oh yeah.
Some people that were thought to be missing, but then later their bodies were found. And so, like Dennis Torrio was killed by Pennywise, but was later found in the Barrens. His body was found in the Barrens. Frederick Cohen drowned and partially eaten by Pennywise. God, I thought the Jaws scene was in here. I might have taken it out on accident. Jerry Bellwood was killed by Pennywise, but was later found near a cement retaining wall. You know, so I mean, Pennywise doesn't necessarily eat everything or take it back home. Sometimes he likes takeout and just leaves his trash wherever.
Yeah, what a dick.
John Kuntz, mauled by Pennywise in the form of a vicious dog to help his pawn, Henry, escape the asylum. You know, Tom Rogan died after seeing Pennywise's true form. Not very many people have seen his true form and lived.
Is that the with the lights, right?
The dead lights.
Yeah,
yes.
dead lights.
Eddie Kasprak had his arm bitten off, so he bled to death. Okay. I do have a closing argument. Do you have a closing argument as to why your killer is the better killer?
Honestly,
Or am I the only one that came prepared like that?
okay, so I don't have it, but I think I could be on the fly.
Go right ahead, buddy. Or do you want me to go first?
I would love it if you can go first.
Okay, so my closing argument as to why Pennywise is a better killer is because he could be anywhere, anytime, or anything. His ability to bring your worst fears to life and make it to where you are the only one in the room that could see him while awake is enough to make anyone go insane. So, you know, like, he could be attacking Nick right now, and all we would see is Nick having an epileptic seizure because we have no idea what the fuck he's doing, flailing on the ground. While in reality, our minds are clouded to Pennywise's actual activities. You know,
okay.
So we wouldn't see that. And then, you know, he, again, to come back to it, he controls the whole town. He controls everything. You know, he can wipe people's memories within the town. So we might see him get murdered, but then Pennywise can wipe our memories to where we don't recall that at all. All we know is that all of a sudden Nick's gone.
Yeah.
You know, and if you move away, you know, he can make you forget about the horrors in the town that you ever saw. You know, which is why when people move out of the town and stuff, their memories are kind of wiped of that and don't ever remember. And that's why in the book and in the miniseries and the movies, the adult kids, when they come back to town, they have to find their memories, essentially. Regain their memories of what was once lost. You know, and you know, the fact that he's an ancient being from another world who... he really can't be killed, you know. He just takes a nap.
Just takes a nap.
I mean, why not? I like naps.
Is that the end of your?
That's the end of my closing argument.
So my
Vote Pennywise for president, 2020.
Fuck that.
Come on now.
We already have a. No, I'm not getting into politics.
Yeah, no.
So
keep going.
I gotta start out by saying that, for one, I feel like Freddy's more of an iconic killer in the sense of being one of the greatest slashers out there. And even though his kill count might be a lot smaller than Pennywise, I like the finesse that goes into each kill that he has, and he puts his own little twist on it. And props to Robert Englund for improvising most of the scenes that he did as Freddy, which is really cool for one. But aside from that, Freddy being as an entity as he is, I think it's kind of badass how the Dream Demons kind of came to him and were like, you were a fucked up dude in real life, I want you. Like, and then gave him this omnipotent power of being able to haunt people in their dreams and being able to go back to what he was doing before. And for one, I also got to say, Pennywise doesn't have his own theme song. So,
No, but he does have a badass dance.
He's got a stupid dance.
And no, that motherfucker dance.
Contortionist.
I've seen the videos. Have you seen the YouTube videos? That fucking dance.
I've seen the videos. No, actually, if you didn't know, the little girls that are singing 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you were his first victims. And they are trapped in that sequence, trying to warn people to stay away. Yeah,
and I always thought that was really cool.
So, every time that song comes on in a movie, if you start hearing that, you're gonna know it's Freddy, 100%. Which
I mean that's like the Jaws theme song.
Oh yeah,
or Jason's little thing that you hear.
Yeah, I did a shotgun sound.
But whereas Pennywise, he doesn't need a theme song to be scary. He just fucks you up.
See, but that's just it. Like when you were talking about some of the kills and everything like that, it almost just, I don't know. It's just very vanilla kills, right, in my opinion. Well,
I didn't go into great detail because there were so many of them.
True, but like and I'm sure that it would have been depicted pretty badass, especially in the movie, like the Frankenstein
that would have
ripping off the face or whatever. But like I don't know, like the kills that I picked out specifically for Freddy were
the most iconic.
Well, not even just the most iconic, but I just think the most creative way to fuck someone up. Like it's one thing to just slash them, chop their fucking head off, chop their arm up, or stab them inside. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's another thing to be all like, I'm going to jump out of this fucking TV and I'm going to grab a hold of you and electrocute you through the fucking wiring in it. I'm going to turn you into a living cockroach and watch your flesh rip apart while you're freaking out. And then I'm going to squish you. And then,
definitely
stuff like that. Like it just makes it more iconic. And for him being like Pennywise, he.
Well, creepy. And I didn't cover the fact that Pennywise at one point turned into Rodan in the book and chased these kids to start instilling fear into them. So I mean, he does like a lot of like little intricate things here and there to put unease and fear into these kids before he kills them, kind of like Freddy does. Freddy does the same kind of thing in the dreams.
I see. The only difference is that or Pennywise, I guess.
Either or.
Okay, so he needs to instill fear into them to be able to kill them. Freddy,
no, he doesn't. He chooses to because
it tastes
children taste better,
right? Which is that narcissism going back onto it. Freddy, all you really have to do is just remember who the fuck he is, and you're screwed. In reality, like, he doesn't give a shit. He's just gonna toy with you, just to toy with you. It's not his narcissism. He'll fucking kill you if he wants to or not. Like,
I feel like he's still a little narcissistic in that manner, that he knows that he could fuck with you and toy with you like that, and play with you like you're his plaything before he kills you.
Well, yeah, especially like the marionette thing where fucking ripping your tendons out.
Yeah, so I mean, he's pretty narcissistic in that right of its own, I believe.
I don't know, like it just there's something about like real life Pennywise would be scary, but to me, it's that one thing that like, because haven't you ever had those dreams where you go to sleep and then you think you wake up and you're still in a fucking dream?
And I figure we would probably cover this in a later episode because I've had some fucked up dreams.
Like no, but
as a kid, yes.
I'm just using that as an example.
Yes,
like,
in that example, yes.
I think those scare me more than like a reality. Like if I went to like a haunted house and saw that. Like I think.
Well, but Pennywise is kind of like comes across as the same kind of ordeal where he plays on like what's that sensation you get when you feel like you've seen something before?
Deja vu.
Sorry, the word was not coming to mind. Where he toys with you in senses like that, where you're like, well, I could have swore I just saw that same cat cross the street just a minute ago, and now here's the same cat doing it again.
Yeah.
Like he in the books he fucks with your mind a lot more than the movies. Obviously the movies they have to like condense and change everything to fit in a time frame, which honestly if they had done everything 100% to the book, they would have had like a 3 or 4 part movie. I think it would have been awesome. I would still have loved it.
And it's still talked about doing that. I'm not trying to dog on your last on the last one.
No,
but I do just hear me out. Like I wish that you would have put more detail into how he killed his victims. Like because like I wish that it was a lot more detailed with like the Frankenstein kill. I think that would have been really cool. Like, because I was trying to envision that, you know what I mean? Like,
well, without going to the book and actually opening up the book and finding that kill in there, I didn't see a whole lot online that actually had that.
Okay.
Without going to the book. And I did have, a few important other things going on this last week where I was trying to take care of some stupid school kind of crap. That's all over with now. So that's
okay. No, fair. No, I'll give it that to you, for sure. But what really matters is it's not what we think.
No, it definitely does not matter what we think. It matters what our guest judge thinks, and if he doesn't guess right or vote right, he's fired.
No, he's not fired.
Or he's hired and you're fired.
You can go suck a big old fat chode right there.
Okay, so like as you guys are talking, I just kept thinking, well, shit, you're taking all the points that I was going to talk about away. So
well, good. I'm glad that we hit some topics.
Yeah, you guys definitely did, and I mean, like what Ethix said. Like I do wish you would have gone into more detail with a lot of these kills. Like I agree. I do think Pennywise is the superior killer, and that he's
definitely
a better killer in general. But the thing is, I think Freddy Krueger is more of an artist with his kills. He's so much more elaborate. Like I feel like he's thinking of it as artwork to him, and putting so much more detail into a lot of his kills.
Yeah.
So I think that's why Freddy Krueger wins.
Holy
okay. All right.
For this round, which means since you did say it's a 3-point thing for this, that means Freddy Krueger wins overall.
All right, I can accept that. I mean,
fuck yeah.
Had I not
start playing
been
Queen,
busy with other stuff and slacked off and had more details in the kills, that might have changed things. But we can't. I'm not gonna dwell on the past. I'm not gonna try to persuade you one way or another. The facts that we brought to the table is the facts that you went off of, and I agree with your judgment. I definitely do.
But like again, like what I was saying though, I really do wish that, and I know I'm not a judge or anything, but I wish that you would have gone into more detail, because I almost feel like you would have won. or Pennywise would have won in that instance because, like, just how powerful he is in general.
Yeah,
But
I definitely agree with Nick's statement though, as far as Freddy being more of an artiste and taking that kind of an approach to his kills. I mean, his kills are no matter the numbers and how Pennywise has killed some people. Freddy Krueger has definitely gone above and beyond, I would say, regardless.
Yeah.
Even though he's got low numbers for his kill count, just what he puts forth into the kill and to fuck with you in your dreams and everything, I agree.
Well, awesome. Well, thank you, honorable judge. I appreciate that. I'll give you your money later.
I knew it.
Yeah, so he offered me a bunch of money to make sure that he wins. So that's why he won. No, I do really agree, like, with what he was saying, that if you would have gone into more detail, it may have gone the other way. But I mean, with what stories you brought me, it just seemed like, okay, yeah, he kills in the same way, or he uses someone else to kill, and that's pretty much about it.
Right.
So it's like, yeah, he's just like, oh, I'm gonna eat this dude's arm off. I'm gonna.
When you need to eat an arm, you eat an arm.
Well, when you need to eat an arm, you need to eat an arm, or when you need to decapitate someone. But it's like,
which should be all the time. You should always decapitate people. Like,
yeah,
kids whining, whoosh, off with his head.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people that I would definitely be perfectly fine with decapitating or killing in more violent ways, but that's for other times. Like
right. Yeah, that's another topic of discussion.
So I guess I will let you guys finish with what you're doing.
All right, thanks, man. We appreciate you coming and being a guest judge, and very good questions you had there and good input.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, so thank you, Nick.
You're welcome.
We hope to have you back on the next versus round. We will, I think this next time maybe we'll let you pick the characters and just give us the characters, and we won't know what each other has. Like this time, I knew you had Freddy. You knew I had Pennywise. Maybe this next time we'll just let Nick pick the characters. And he gives you one, gives me one, and go from there.
No, I would be totally A-okay with that, or like fucking drawn it. You can even fuck with us. Like, it could be so bad to where, like, you pull it out of a hat, and, like, let's say I get Chucky and he gets, like, fucking Jason Voorhees. Like, I'd be fucked for sure, but I'd still try.
No, I think.
Well, if we keep on the same pattern. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, no, I do think if I was going to do that, I would try and make it so that it was characters that could battle. Like, I'm not going to say, like, oh, hey, let's have Tinkerbell versus Dracula or whatever.
Right, but, I mean, if we stick to the same rules and you judge the exact same way based on the characters an individual and you going up against the character, I mean, no matter who we get would be judged accurately.
Well, yeah, I guess that would be.
So it wouldn't matter if it's Tinkerbell and Godzilla.
True. I guess that is true.
I mean, please don't give me Tinkerbell.
Oh, come on. Tinkerbell would probably kill us all.
Yeah, she might. She's a magical little bitch.
But so this means I'm not fired then?
This time.
Okay.
But you better bring snacks next time.
Okay, fine. Hey, I thought this was your show. Like, aren't you guys supposed to supply snacks?
No. The guest brings the snacks. Did you not see it in the fine print?
I don't think that's how being a guest works.
It does with our podcast. The guests bring us stuff.
Listen, I'm not a part of this. Okay, I news to me on this.
He also did not read the fine print.
Yeah, apparently when you're trying to take off your shirt sometimes, I don't know if that was in the fine print. Put it down!
It is in the fine print.
Okay, so you're keep talking about this fine print. I was never given any information about this. So.
Okay, so that falls on ethics.
Okay.
He recruited you.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, you can't blame me then, really.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I can't blame you for his shortcomings.
Hey,
which
now,
I hear
hey,
a
now.
lot of them.
Hey, fuck you. So, no, whatever.
Yeah, you lost track.
Yeah, we'll be seeing you again, Nick. I can promise you that.
Definitely seeing you soon.
So
this is gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
So, be careful talking to that seemingly nice yet odd clown, inviting yet weird neighbor dreaming about a burnt man in a fedora, because you never know if it's just a nightmare you could wake up from or an evil being waiting for the right time to kill you. So sleep tight.
Don't let your imagination get you.
And
as always, be mindful of your fearful thoughts.